The single malt, made and produced globally all over the world, many different countries. So, how am I supposed to decipher the difference between single malt from Scotland, from Australia, Ireland, or right here in America? I guess I asked my bourbon drinkers, my real bourbon drinkers, can you truly, blindfolded, can you truly tell 100% of the time that that bourbon was made in Kentucky versus Tennessee versus Colorado or Virginia? Not as easy as you think. How do I fare today? I don't know. We're going to find out, because Derek's going to pour me a single malt from somewhere on this globe. It's up to me to figure it out.
Welcome back. Tonight we're going back to the United States. We're going to go with a American single malt. So we're going to be trying to see if Tom can get the Stranahans Sherry cask. Stranahans is a Colorado distillery. This is aged 5 to 7 years. It's 90 proof. We had a summer where we were like going through American whiskey, a different one every week, trying to find something new. And we came across this. So far, I've been pretty happy with all the Stranahans I've tried. I've only had it a couple times, but it's malted barley, which is what one of my favorites are. Sherry cask, also a favorite of mine, made in the U.S., which is unique. We'll see if Tom can get this from a Scotch. That's going to be the interesting part here. If you don't know what an American malt is, basically it's the same ingredients that go into Scotch, but made in the U.S. Has to be 100% distilled in the U.S. from a single distillery. Has to be aged in bourbon barrels less than 700 liters. It has to be at least 80 proof when bottled. So let's pour out a tasting of this and see if what Tom thinks. I know I am looking forward to this one. All right, it's spilling it today. Good job, me. Put the caps on. You feeling confident yet?
Oh man, I don't think you're getting me this time.
All right.
I gotta get this done.
All right.
Dark on the color.
So this one, I'm looking forward to. I haven't had this one in a while.
Yeah.
I personally am looking at try this again.
Okay. So it's been a little bit.
Been a little bit.
Yeah.
You ready to get into this?
Let's get into it.
All right.
Just dive right in. Ooh. Ooh. This is rich.
It is.
Very rich.
Yep. Especially having, some of the previous ones have been much later.
And I already have a first thought. I'm not
All
gonna
right.
say it.
All right.
I'm not gonna step on myself
Gonna
like I
take
did
yourself.
last time.
All right.
I'm gonna think about it a little longer, but I do have an initial thought.
No, I like that. That nose is good.
This is rich. This is desserty. It's either a super, super dark sherry or a portwood.
Yep. I can see that.
It's
It's one of my favorite smells.
Yeah. You're a portwood guy. You do like portwoods. I love a good portwood finish, but I'm probably good for two of them.
Too much, too rich.
Too much, too rich.
Yep.
It's one of those. It hits all cylinders.
Yep.
And much like cake or ice cream to me, it hits all cylinders, and that I've had enough.
Mm-hmm.
I am feeling more of a savory than a sweet guy.
No.
Yeah. You can't tell on either side, but we're working with it. No. I'm going to have two dramatically different guesses now. Oh, definitely some baking spice in there. Like
A little dry on the end.
it is a little dry,
I
but
anticipated.
heavy on the nutmeg. Just I mean, that's the dry. It's like it's granular. Like
Yeah,
it's got like all these baking spices put together on the finish.
it
And
is.
you're getting a little granular texture.
It is
out of it.
drier than I remember and drier than I typically like.
Yeah.
Have some comments on that once we get to the reveal.
The reveal's gonna be tough for me. I don't know whether I'm drinking a Portwood finish Speyside Highland or I'm drinking some rather unique American malt. If it's an American malt, it's probably not a Portwood.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably exposing its youthfulness finished in heavy sherry.
Yep.
It's dark. It's dark and shows a little Dalmore Portwood.
Yep. You like it?
I do know you like the Dalmore.
I do.
It's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. But that's what's gonna make it tough for me because we got two different ends of the world here.
I wish it wasn't so dry. Other than that, I'm really enjoying it.
And it gets drier. Yeah.
I'm like wanting to like.
Yeah. I do like it. But I also think this is gonna fall under that I could have a glass or two of this.
Mhm.
I really, really enjoy it and really appreciate it. But I couldn't probably envision myself really wanting this after the second glass.
Yep. I can see that.
Now, although I could say this, if I had the right cigar with this, I could probably have more than a couple.
I think it might be too dry.
You think it might be too dry?
Too dry.
Yeah.
Or at least have to have a glass of water next to it.
Yeah. So I do like it. It's kind of a mixed review, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of character.
It does.
Yeah.
From that standpoint, I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot going on. Maybe it's not all put together the best, but it's got a lot going on.
Not overly proofy.
You got a guess there?
86.
Okay. Just classic.
Standard Scotch. 86. Yeah.
Is it aged? Is it
I don't think this is age stated. So
interesting.
So not age stated is all over the board. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean it's youthful.
Yeah.
But obviously the distillery didn't want to put an age statement on there for a reason. And a good example of that is the Glenmorangie Signet. That is non-age stated, but it's known to have 30+ year old whiskey in it.
Yep.
But it's probably also has some 8-year-old whiskey in it. So once it has 8-year-old whiskey in it, they would have to call it an 8-year.
Yep.
So it's to their benefit not to put an age statement on it.
Mm-hmm.
The other reason why they wouldn't put an age statement on it is because it is youthful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this is non-age stated.
Yep.
I'm going to go with my original instinct here.
Okay.
Because I got to really try and play that rule
Right.
of my original instinct. I think this is an American malt.
Okay.
And I'm going to say it's Colorado.
Okay.
Stranahans Sherry Cask.
All right.
That's my guess.
Cool.
I'm right. I drank this for quite a little while. I was on a Stranahan kick for a little bit. I really enjoyed it, and then it did just what I kind of was describing. I got old.
Yep.
A pretty old hat, and then I was like, no, I can't do that anymore.
Just for my record keeping, we got to give it a rating.
The nose is really there. The nose is where it's at on this. So I'm going to give a lot of credit to the nose. I'm going to give the nose an 8.5, an 8.6. Palate and finish 8.1.
Okay, for me they kind of dropped off. So
Yeah, it dropped off a little bit.
8.4, 8.
Yeah,
Seven,
it just kind of
6,
tailed a little
kind
bit.
of
Yeah,
was going down.
and I think that's the dryness that
Yeah.
you're getting, and it's just building on your tongue.
And that's the wrong way, I think, for people. Like if the best thing
I
about it
agree.
is what it
Yeah.
smells like. You're not going to necessarily get the
Correct.
highest
And you
reviews.
really want the nose to match the finish, or the finish to match the nose. And this did that, but it kind of dried out a little bit. And I think that's stacking up the more you drink it.
Yep. So I will say you got it exactly right.
I knew you weren't getting me this time. I felt good. I felt good.
At the beginning there, I thought we were going to go around a little bit. You might have done that.
I was that Dalmore Portwood, right? So I mean, just a good example of how good they're doing things in America.
Yeah.
That's
It's weirdly age dated. It says it's 5 to 7 years.
okay.
It's an odd
Okay,
range.
yeah.
So maybe they're mixing, or they have had some supply shortages and whatnot. It has the Pedro Ximénez. I mean, not pronounce that correct.
Pedro Ximénez.
Ximénez, yeah. Sherry casks, which are very robust.
Very robust.
Yes,
Heavy sherry. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, which makes sense because
But it's also initially aged in virgin white oak, which is what we're getting on that. That's what I said. Come back to me on the
that's that dryness.
That's that dryness.
Yes.
I almost never want, personally, I don't want anything in a virgin, barrel.
And I know it's easy to say this now that I've seen the bottle, but American malt tends to have a little bit of a unique funk to it.
Oh, interesting.
And it's there. It doesn't punch you. You might not notice it, but kind of it's a building kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The more you drink it, you start to get a little bit of this funk on the back of the tongue.
Yeah, is that maybe? I have no idea why. Maybe we just don't. We've been growing the barley.
That's a great question. All great question. I don't know, but I find that in majority of American malts. I love them. I still like them.
Yeah.
I think America's doing some really, really good stuff in the malt side of things. Like I said, I was on a Stranahan kick for quite a while there.
Yeah, so I've had this one before.
Their standard line cast strength is.
I remember liking it. They have one in a blue bottle. I remember not particularly.
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Great.
What do they call it? I don't remember the name of that one off the top of my head. The one that's finished in tequila barrels was nice. I really like that. Yeah.
But I like what they're doing. From a U.S. or local distillery, it's good to see them, creating these kind of more Scotch-like cocktail, concoctions locally.
Yeah.
Well, good job.
Gotcha, man.
You got right on the money.
Well, a bottle guess is freaking hard.
That's not very hard.
It's very hard to get a bottle guess. But my first instinct was American malt.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm trying to force myself to stay with that initial instinct.
And for all you test takers out there, if you have an idea on a multiple choice, and whatever the first one is, just go with it.
Or C. I actually always like the longest answer. Whichever one's the longest, it's probably that. But I remember, a few years ago when I was on this kick, I really liked this bottle, and I remember it being very rich. This is actually almost like I'll say this: if you're a wine drinker trying to get into whiskey, this is probably a good start. I think it's got a lot of that bold wine kind of character.
Yep, just if you're like a red wine drinker.
Yeah, red wine drinker for sure. Absolutely, red wine drinker.
I'd say the Jamesons and Glenfiddich from the other day is probably more of like a white wine drinker.
A white wine drinker.
Smooth, easy going.
Chardonnay.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Or an alcoholic. But no, they're doing good things. It's got a lot of character. It's good. I've always really enjoyed it, but the same thing. By the time you get to the third glass, I think it's a little overly rich.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rich.
But that makes it great for a tasting.
Absolutely. It makes it really good for a tasting.
And to bring out, it's an experience.
Yeah.
It's something you can share with people. You're not going to have a lot of this, but here, try this. You might enjoy this. Especially if someone's got a rich palate. They like that rich, flavorful stuff.
But compared to what we had last time, the Glenfiddich with the JMO comp, this is a flavor bomb in comparison.
Yep.
Absolute flavor bomb. All right, I feel like I'm running about 50-50.
I will have to check the tape.
I'll check the tape, check the scorecard.
Yeah. I haven't been keeping track.
Gonna see what you have in store for me next week?
I gotta do some research. I haven't picked out next week yet.
Okay. Well, look forward to see what you got.
Cool.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
life.